Hey guys, what is going on? It is Chris here. Haven't been here for a couple days. Hopefully, you guys have been doing pretty good, and also had a pretty good weekend as well. So, um, excuse me. Yeah, like I said, hopefully you guys been doing good. I took a couple days off. Also, it was the weekend, so I did a couple things as well. So, yeah. Anyway, we've been doing all right this week. I think we went 2-2 or 2-3. I'm not 100% sure. Kind of a hard week for us. We got screwed with Oakland. I totally forgot to check the weather there, but for the most part, kind of breaking even. So not the greatest week, but you're going to have that once in a while. So, um, just the way it is. But like I said, the week and a half prior, as you guys have been seeing, we were just killing it, and hopefully we get back on track here. Anyway, we have a massive 15 game slate for FanDuel today. We have a 13 game slate for DraftKings that starts at the normal 7:05 time. For some reason, FanDuel wanted to add the two early-ish games in here, which I don't really care for because then we don't get some of the later lineups in with Oakland, LA, and Seattle by that time. So, but anyway, yeah, we got a massive slate today, 15 games. So we're gonna go through some of the plays I like. Anyway, the website I usually show you guys, Fantasy Team Advice, where they have all the ratings and stuff. Um, I put them into Fantasy Cruncher just to make it a little easier, so I can sort it through position and stuff like that. As you see, the projections are really high. That's just the rating, so don't think I got these guys projected that high. It's just the ratings from Fantasy Team Advice. I just put them in there, just a little easier to organize it than what they have over there. So, yeah, as normal, if you want to get in on FanDuel or DraftKings, would love to have you guys on board. Only $10 a week per site, so $10 a week for FanDuel and $10 a week separately for DraftKings. To get in on it, check out our Twitter in the comment section below. Message us to get all set up. As normal, Wednesday and Thursday are sign up days. If you sign up on those days, you are automatically will get in for lineups that day. If you sign up on any other day, we will accept your payment, but we will not accept you into Slack. That's where we post our lineups until Wednesday. And like I said, if you pay us on Friday, don't worry, you're not going to get cut any days. Your week will start on the following Wednesday, and then from there on, it'll be Wednesday to Wednesday. So that is that for that. So, yeah, let's go look at some of the totals. No really big weather to look at it here so far. Anything could happen throughout the day, but don't look too bad. So for the most part, not the highest totals out there. We got 8.5, 8. We got a 9 over here with the Mets and the Phillies. Cardinals, Brewers, that should be a good one. And that's mostly it. Oh, yeah, White Sox, Royals, and Minnesota and Blue Jays. So there's a couple out there to look at here. So almost every single team here is playing. I think all 30 are playing. So it should be an interesting one here to look at. So, yeah, let's go look at the projections. Like I said, this is from them, Fantasy Team Advice. Like I said, if you want to check them out, you definitely can. I think 150 is the highest here. So 0 to 150. On their rating scales. So they got Chris Sale at a 146.6. That's up to you guys. I personally probably not going to go that way. Sale's been just terrible. He even said that he's not feeling right. And the Yankees, they can hit. They don't have all their guys, but they can definitely hit. And his Sale even said himself he's not really feeling it. So you can go GPP and put him in there. There must be a reason why they got him high. I don't think his ownership should be too high. Plus, he's only 9,000, so he's pretty cheap. That's up to you guys. We got Tyler Glass now. I do like him. He'll be very chalky today, taking on Baltimore. Baltimore can hit, but also they can also strike out a little bit as well. We saw what David Price did the other day against Baltimore, so don't mind Tyler Glass now in Tampa Bay, and they are favored, so hopefully he gets the win as well. Then he has a 0.53 ERA. He is doing pretty good this year. So I do like Glass now. Like I said, a lot of other people will as well. Colin McHugh, 133.6. You can look at him. Maybe he might get you a 30-35 in Oakland. But like I said, they are facing Oakland. Good team to hit. Next is Nick Margevicius. I have no idea how to say that guy's name against Colorado. He is a rookie, doing half decent this year. Colorado, I don't know what's going on with them, man. They got a pretty good hitting team, but they're just not hitting right now. They did get the win last night, so it's up to you. They are in San Diego. They might get a little bit of rain, 16% chance as of now, but we'll have to see. See how the wind is and stuff. I don't know how the wind is, but if the wind's blowing in, maybe put in a couple of them. Sorry, put in the pitcher there. Next, we got Steven Strasburg against the Giants. We all know we love stacking pitchers against the Giants. Strasburg not looking too good this year, but you can still consider him. I'd rather have Tyler Glasnow all day over Strasburg, but you have to take in consideration he's facing a Giants team. Next is Joe Musgrove. I really don't mind him taking on Detroit. He's looking just unreal this year. Let's go look at Joe Musgrove. Anyway, not many people talk about him. Came over from Houston, I think, a couple years ago. And right when that happened, I knew that was a pretty good trade for Pittsburgh. And, like I said, he's doing pretty good. Facing Detroit, usually a pitcher's ballpark for the most part. Very hard to hit it out in center field. I think 420-plus feet. And, really don't mind here. Some Joe Musgrove. As you guys see here, had a tough one. Well, Cincinnati only pitched 2 innings. Then he had 55 and 41. So, I don't mind the dude. I think he's in a pretty good spot. So, Glasnow and I think Musgrove are my 2 top favorites so far. Paxton, GPP only because he's facing Boston. Sean Gray maybe against San Diego, but San Diego's not a bad hitting team anymore like they have been like the last 5 years. Maeda against Cincinnati, maybe you can look at him. Shane Bieber, I personally don't mind him here. Seattle, like I said, they're a really good hitting team, but they've lost 4 in a row, and they're striking out a ton. So he might get you 7, 8 strikeouts as well, so you can look at him. So, Seattle's struggling right now. They're striking out, like I said, the most in the major league, so you can definitely look at him. Then you got Max Fried. I always mess his name up here against Arizona. So if I'm doing it, I honestly think I'm going to go Glasnow, Musgrove, and probably Shane Bieber and a GPP. But for sure, Glasnow is going to be in a couple, and in about at least 80% of them here for sure. Anything could happen throughout the day that might change my mind, but as of now, that's what I'm looking at. He's expensive though, but that's what I'm looking at. All right, moving on to the catcher first base area here. Let this load here real quick. We got Max Muncy taking on Malley. That's up to you guys. He is the number 1 rated. Malley's looking pretty good this year, but Dodgers might get to him a little bit. Smoke taking on Gibson. I think a couple guys might go Toronto here. Toronto, as we all know, they're frustrating offense to stack. Sometimes it seems like when you stack pitchers against them, they go off, and if you stack the hitters, they suck. So GPP only for me. They are cheap, so you might have to put in a couple with Glasnow if you're putting him in there. But I really don't mind Tampa Bay if you're going Glasnow. Chi-Man Choi, Austin Meadows, we'll get into him. But against Bundy completely sucks, 8.76. I do expect Tampa Bay to be a popular stack just because, for the most part, most of them are pretty cheap. So expect them to be popular. And then who else we got? Talese against Gibson, Ryan O'Hearn against Lopez there. So definitely a couple good first basemen for sure in this one. I don't mind actually a couple Philly guys against Steven Matz, depending on the wind. It was blowing in last night, but they still scored half decent amount of runs. Once again, you're going to see a lot of Tampa Bay guys here. Brandon Lowe, $3,600 against Bundy. Just put him in there. If you're playing cash games, just do a straight up Tampa Bay stack if that's the way you're going. Don't mind a couple Houston guys. They have been on fire. They swept the Mariners. Altuve has been just unbelievable. I know they're playing in Oakland, but like I said, I think they can get to him here. Estrada struggled with a 4.87 this year. I don't mind a couple Houston guys. They're expensive, but I think you can get a couple in there. I don't mind a couple Atlanta guys against Ray. Ray, as I mentioned before, he strikes out like at least 7 or 8 of them, but also gives up the home run ball as well. And Atlanta, as we know, they can hit some home runs. And they're in Arizona, really good place to hit. So a couple Atlanta bats to look at. Kansas City, as I mentioned, don't mind a couple of them. Whit Merrifield for sure. He's up there. Mike Moustakas against St. Louis. Flaherty not looking too bad, but anything could happen here. Milwaukee, as we know, a really good hitting team. Moving on here to third base, we have, there we go, Bregman. As I mentioned, Donaldson, he does his damage against lefties. He's been up and down this year, but looking a little better here recently. ISO's at a 208, so I don't mind that. Yohan Makata should be in a half decent spot. I don't think a lot of people will have him, but you can look at him. There's Machado, Turner, Anthony Rendon. I probably won't really have those guys. As I mentioned earlier, you can go another Tampa Bay guys with Diaz if you want to. But I think I like Bregman and Donaldson. Those are probably my top two third basemen that I'm picking at. Another maybe GPP pick is Jose Quintana. I forgot to mention him out, but his ERA is still sucking. But he is facing a Miami team, so we saw what Yu Darvish of all people did against them. So who knows? Maybe go Quintana and GPP. We got, like I said, another Houston guy, Carlos Correa. Got a couple Dodgers sneaking up there. Mondesi for Kansas City. Couple Chicago guys, Tim Anderson, Fernando Tatis for San Diego. So all those guys are in pretty good spots. I personally like most of them there. Anderson can hit some home runs. He strikes out, but he can hit a one or two for you if you want to. You can look at Javi Baez taking on Lopez. Not the best place to hit, but Baez is Baez. He can hit pretty good. And then moving on to the outfield here, we got Yelich, and I mentioned Austin Meadows. I really like both those guys. Yelich was insane last night. I did have him, but we still broke even. He had 70-plus fantasy points. The dude was on fire with 3 bombs, 7 RBIs, but still just broke even. So it was a high-scoring night. Like, I think 50-50 cash line was like 180. It was just insane how high it was last night. We got Mike Trout against Minor. Minor's really not a bad pitcher, but they are in Texas, so maybe put a couple in there. And then we got Ronald Acuna, Alex Gordon, I guess a cheap option for you. Tommy Pham, as I mentioned, Tampa Bay, George Springer, and maybe a couple Minnesota bats as well. Sanchez really not looking bad, but there are a couple bats up there. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. I'm not going to go too into it. There's 15 games. I mean, we already spent quite a bit on it. So, Tampa Bay, Houston, those are your 2 most popular stacks. And as I mentioned, you can definitely go with sorry about that. I don't know why that showed up. Definitely can go with Musgrove and Glasnow as your pitchers. So that is mostly it. Yeah, monster 15-game slate. And like I said, it starts early, so definitely check your time. And DraftKings starts normal time with a 13-game slate. So that is it. As normal, we'd love to have you guys come join us. $10 a week for FanDuel and $10 a week separately for DraftKings. To get in on it, check out our Twitter in the comment section, message us, and we'll get you all set up. Like I said, Wednesday and Thursday are sign-up days. You'll automatically get in on those days. If you sign up any other day, don't worry. Your payment will automatically start on Wednesday and end next Wednesday unless you renew. So, that is it. All right, guys. Hope you guys all had a pretty good weekend, as I mentioned earlier. And we'll talk to you guys all here a little bit later.